Old Town celebrated the opening of a manufacturing facility producing first-of-its-kind technology. Grace Bradley takes us there.
This is a success story on how to collaborate.
An Old Town facility is ushering in a new era of national protection, featuring technology first of its kind. Global Secure Shipping cut the ribbon Wednesday, opening the first facility in the world to manufacture secure shipping containers.
Targeted to improve the security of container shipments across our borders, protecting shipments against tampering, theft, and to improve global supply chain security.
The secret to secure shipping is having sensors within the paneling of the container, protecting it from any damage while it can detect when cargo is tampered with.
This is research at its best. Very talented researchers, lots of students engaged, strong workforce, in solving really key global solutions that also support our economy.
This has required an unusual collaboration. At the federal level, I've been able to secure millions of dollars to help revitalize this industrial park and to directly support the research at the University of Maine and to encourage the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security to work to test and purchase these containers.
This program represents the best of American industrial base capability, where all levels of government, federal, state, local, work in collaboration with industry and academia to meet a critical national need.
This is manufacturing jobs in Old Town. At full capacity of manufacturing 1,000 containers a year, this facility will employ 80 manufacturing jobs.
It's a model for how we prepare a talented workforce able to work at the very cutting edge on some of the nation's most challenging problems.
Grace Bradley, WABI News, Old Town.